Hey there, welcome to Popcorn Talks, iTalk Movies. My name's Kari Lane, and today I'm talking with a director, writer, producer who knows how to get the job done in film by wearing more than one hat. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk, we talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talks, iTalk Movies.
So today I'm joined by Vito Dinatolo. Did I say it close enough?
Perfect.
All right, welcome.
Thank you.
And we're going to be talking about his new film, Face of Evil, as well as just the process of filmmaking in general. So we have a lot of fun stuff. Welcome again.
Thank you.
So your love of film started at a very young age, yeah?
Yeah, very young, I would say. Yeah.
All right. And what particular film stood out to you when you were a kid and growing up?
First of all, I liked horror movies when I was a kid. I remember I started with cartoons, Japanese cartoons. In the 80s, they were big. So that probably set up the way for horror and sci-fi and thriller, which are my favorite genres. One of my favorite horror movies that stuck in my mind, I remember, is yes, that is mine. Evil Dead. Evil Dead because it was scary, but also funny at the same time. Back then, I was, a kid, so it was scarier than funny. But it's stuck in my mind ever since because of the surreal characters and events. Even zombies are surreal. I wanted to, back then I wanted to, I didn't know I was going to be a filmmaker, but I thought, okay, I like this movie. And then when I was a kid, I also had, I dream about zombies. I don't say often, but, it happens. When I was a kid, I had a nightmare about these infected creatures. People basically with pale face and yellow eyes and an evil sneer. You may think that rings a bell. It does ring a bell. It's Face of Evil, which became my movie. So that look stuck in my mind of these people reaching at you with their hands and this evil sneer. So I thought, back then, it just stuck in my mind. During the years, as I was, developing my skills and stuff, I still, wanted to make a horror movie. And when it was time to make this horror movie, I gave them the look. I gave zombies this look. In fact, I don't even want to call them zombies. Zombies is reductive. They're not zombies. They move fast. They're infected people. I like horror movies. Back then, I still like horror movies. There are too many horror movies, I think, though. I don't get scared that much, but I know what scary means, or else I wouldn't know how to scare people to make scary movies.
What's a movie that scared you growing up?
That scared me growing up? I don't know. I mean, I like, for example, Carpenter. So, In the Mouth of Madness, or even Kubrick's Shining. I like gore, but it needs to be psychological as well, or else it's not gonna work. So, and that's what this movie is about too. It's not too gory. In fact, it's not even a horror movie. It's a cross genre and psychological thriller. Yeah.
So you mentioned you liked zombies. What are some of your favorite zombie films that you've seen?
I've seen a lot of zombie movies just to get an idea of, especially before shooting the movie. I would stick with Romero. I like very much 28 Days Later because of the new look and style, more human. It makes more sense rather than you die and then you resurrect, with half face off. Being a regular person with a virus, hence the conspiracy theory and blah blah blah. That opens new doors. But yeah, I like that. And after then, there were a couple of more movies, like I think the not the Night of Living, the Return of the Living Dead. Anyway, they started moving faster after 20 days later. Everything got faster, also because nowadays everything is faster editing, so you can't just be slow and still scare people. So.
Yeah. What about like Resident Evil?
I like that too. Maybe the first one
Yeah.
or two. They was shot too much like a video game, which is where the trend is going anyway. But then it became too much over the top. Too over the top.
It was just too crazy. So you, even within the realm of zombies or horror, did you try to keep your film with a level of realism?
Yes. Well, first of all, I had to cut on budget. So less blood, less dead people, less zombies. So I cut down on that, but mostly because I wanted to give it a psychological twist, psychological actually structure throughout the movie. I first wrote the movie as a plain horror. It was just a straight zombie movie chase. And a few years ago, by then, there were so many zombie movies out there. The genre was, it was zombie inflation. It was, you name it. Even the stupidest titles, like Strippers versus Zombies. So I thought it's useless to spend a few years of my life making my first feature film. I wanted to surprise people with something particular with a zombie movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, let's rewrite it from a psychological perspective in a way that makes sense from Jay, who's the lead, Jay's point of view. And it took me a month to write the first draft, just plain horror. It took me about a year to write the last draft. So it was a long process. And what was your original question?
No, I think you covered it.
Okay,
the realism in it.
And speaking of realism, that's the story, the main story. The look of it. The main story, the premise is that Jay comes back. He's a war vet, so he comes back from the Middle East, and his friends throw a welcome back party. Then people get infected, things go bad, and blah blah blah. But the background, the premises, all the issues in the background are the real structure of the movie, I would say. And speaking of realism, that's another reason why I like realism, because horror, science fiction, anything that goes beyond realism becomes more real if the premises are real. So this guy is a war vet. He comes back from Middle East. He finds a weird situation. There is an epidemic going on. So we deal with many fears of the 21st century, like fear of epidemic, fear of terrorism, fear of big brother conspiracies, fear of being spied, mistrust among people. So all these plus the actual issue of the war vet, depression, suicides, mass shooting. That's the one of the main issues is mass shooting rampage.
Mm-hmm.
And is a very topical question, that too, if not the most topical question. What's going on in the shooter's mind when he presses the trigger? Maybe he sees zombies. We don't know. So realism is necessary to enjoy a fantasy story and to make it more believable. So that's the reason behind my realism.
So your film's called Face of Evil.
Yes.
I was gonna say, I know we've been talking about, but, like, to reiterate for people, it's called Face of Evil. And then, so you not only wrote it, you directed it, produced it, and you did cinematography, and did a few other things.
Edited
Yes.
it, and I scored part of it.
So just a couple things, huh?
I also make good coffee.
Now, did you find that you had to do all that because what prompted you to do all those different jobs?
It was out of my will and necessity.
Okay.
I wanted to do that. Being my first baby, it could be my last one. So I want it the way I want it, no compromises. So even if it took longer, since I studied all this stuff, all these fields, since I have experience in all these fields, and I knew I could do it, given all my previous work, I decided to do it myself. I mean, besides writing and directing it. And as far as the necessity, it was because it was already a low-budget movie. Since I couldn't find investors and I wanted to make this movie without waiting any farther, I just cut down the budget. So...
Now, it's pretty common, or it can happen a lot, where a director will write it as well, because then they get to achieve what vision they had. Did you encounter any particular problems doing so many different jobs on this film?
It was just hard to get recharged every time that I finish one job. You already get, usually as an artist, or I hate the word artist, it's used too often nowadays, so as a producer, in a way that you produce a good something, eventually by the end of your work, you're tired of it, you hate it. If you have to cover many hats, you're tired the first time, you're very tired the second time that you go over it. By the fourth or fifth time you go over it to do another job, you hate it. So it was the most challenging part. But I had full control over it. I had nobody breathing on my neck. That's the most important thing. Next movies, hopefully I have a better budget. So, I can compromise. I want to work with people. Making movies is a teamwork. But this one, to show my ideas, that was the only way to do it. And I hear it's not a common issue that you took longer to make your first film.
But at least you finished it. There are some people who start out and then they don't even finish.
Yeah.
How long was the entire process? So you said the script writing took about a year. How long was the entire filmmaking and then post-production?
I would say pretty much was about 5 years overall, because I wrote it, then I was looking for investors. Then I started producing it myself, got organized. Casting, that took 4 months just to go over 2,000 or 3,000 headshots, interviewing people, and just for a dozen people at the end. It was very fun. It was totally funny, but a lot of fun. But it was probably the most creative process, because I found a face to each character. Until then they were live on paper, and they were already very live, because I wrote it in a way that their personality comes out. Remind me character-based scripts after, because I need to link to this thing too. So it took 4 months to cast, but then it took a few more months to find locations, and then the way I wrote it thinking about the budget and production. So the first half takes place in a house. The second half takes place in different locations with mostly different cast. So I was able to split production in the first half, shoot it, edit it. I went back to Italy for a few months to edit it in peace. And then I came back, organized the second half, shot it, and went back to Italy to edit it. And then I came back, took care of sound, and, the music. I found the colorist. I found some mix. I supervised, even when I didn't do the job myself, I supervised people. So it took long. It was, back and forth process. But eventually, it was, now it's finished. So it took long. So back to the script, the character-driven content. Yeah.
Yes.
I wrote it in a way also that the first draft was a story-driven script, meaning they do this, and that. Some get killed, some get away. Okay, we've seen the movie once. We need to see it again. That's most movies' destiny. But with character-driven stories, once you see the story the first time, once you see the movie the first time, you may want to see it again just because you want to see those characters again. You know the story, so okay, no big deal. But you like those characters so much that eventually you want to see them again. You look forward to that line again, not because it's not like you don't want to see the same line. You want to see the same line, recite that line with the characters because you want to be with them. You want to be their friends. You look forward to see your friends again, even if the movie and the story is the same. Those movies who achieve that goal, those are evergreen movies, if not cult movies. They will never die because characters, no matter what the circumstance is, will always be live and likable and there for the audience. So that was my goal with the story, and it's also my interest. Next movies, I would like to write or find scripts character driven. So because I think it's much better than the story driven.
During the casting process, did you have any surprises when people came in and read a character a certain way or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were off, especially with stereotypical roles like Sarge, the surgeon, so-called Sarge, that's his name. He's the other lead who comes in later in the movie. That role, for example, everyone was playing it tough. He's a sergeant, so play it tough. But it's not like that. The role was for mentally unstable people. You're supposed to be all over the place. You're supposed to be very hyper, crazy, kind of like Doc in Back to the Future. That kind of like madness, genius magic. Even if it's not genius, but that kind of madness. Not a tough person, and I found. Eventually, this great actor, Chad Bishop. As far as Jay, same thing. I was looking for someone who could play not just a tough soldier, in fact, not at all a tough soldier, because when you leave, you're tough. When you come back, you're not tough anymore. I was looking for someone who can, look sweet, but also flip, or look like he could flip at any hint. So, it took long to look for Jay's character, but eventually I found it, Scott Baxter. So they're all great actors, up-and-coming actors. Let me just mention a few more.
Sure.
Jimmy Bernadette. They're all part of, they're friends. They're Jay's ensemble, and they're the friends who throw the welcome back party. Jimmy Bernadette, she plays his sister, and other great actors up and coming. She's done also a lot of horror movies already. You can find her up there. James Hutchinson, Chris Thorpe, Brian Howards. Brian Howard. I always get confused. Brian, I'm sorry. I love you. You're my best friend and the best actor. Brian Howard. Charmaine Starr. Let me go. I don't want to leave anyone, and anyway, many others.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, they are all good actors. It took long to cast, but eventually I'm happy about the cast.
From a director's standpoint and that particular casting experience, do you have any advice to actors out there of going into the casting room?
Going into the casting room?
Well, because you mentioned how, this character, everyone kind of went one direction stereotypically, he's a sergeant, he must be tough. So is there any kind of advice you would give for actors of if they get a script ahead of time and when they go in the room, because coming from a director's perspective?
Actually, on the sides, on the scripts, I had a few hints already on how to play the character, so that they knew already So those would be my suggestions, but on paper before they come, so they already know how to play it. So yeah. I was telling that I was rehearsing some time with them and give them directions, but usually I hate organizing things, but when I have to, I'm very organized. So I rather prevent. So whatever hints, suggestions, they will be on paper.
And then, actually, another thing. Speaking of advice, what advice would you give fellow filmmakers out there? Because you dedicated a lot of time to this project, so you obviously care about it. What advice would you give to fellow filmmakers out there to stick with their project?
Janet Roth, she plays a great. I just remembered she plays Jay's ex-girlfriend. Sorry.
No, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's no, I don't mean to interrupt. I just get really excited and remember things. Yeah. So what advice would you give to filmmakers out there of what's the best way to stick with your project even when it takes a long time to finish?
I would say you need passion, first of all, to start it, obsession to continue it, or else, you're not gonna, and madness to finish it. So you start with passion, you become obsessed, unless you're already obsessed. And then unless you're already crazy, become crazy. So that's the only way. I mean, along with other ingredients. But I've seen people with talent. I've seen people with good ideas, just not having the time or the will to do it. So yeah, I mean, aside from creativity, all you have or all you can become, yes, you can, blah blah blah. But eventually, you have to just do it and keep doing it.
And then this is the first of 3 scripts, correct? Is it going to be a multi-project
Not of
thing?
a trilogy. I
Okay.
have 2 other scripts, of which one is also good to go. But I'm actually brainstorming on the sequel or prequel of this movie. So if I had to choose, I'd rather do this movie. We'll see how it goes with the screenings and festivals and it's all up to the distributor who picks up the movie.
Sure.
But a sequel or prequel, like any horror movie, even the crappiest horror movies have sequels. So,
Or multiple sequels. They have
Or,
number 5 or
yeah. You see, and that's when you have character-based movies, then, you can bring up characters. Or else, if you bring up the same concept, it becomes, boring.
Yeah. Have you done a screening for the people who've been in the film so far, like a cast and crew screening yet?
I've done one cast and crew screening. Yeah.
How'd that go?
People were surprised. Because they saw the means that we had, on set.
Yeah.
So some were surprised in a good way. Some were expecting the same quality because they believed in me. I was happy to. That they still believe in me after so many years. Because this is the issue. People may believe in the project and in the script and in yourself when they start. But unfortunately, especially, when you have, low budget and, when you have so many means, or regardless, it takes long to finish the movie and to put it out there. So by then, some people are not even interested in the project. Some actors are not even actors anymore. Some have kids or whatnot. So it's hard to stick to to the project and to be still interested. But I was happy to see them, most of them, and I'll see them again now, which is the official screening. This is the first festival, so the first screening, so a premiere of this movie.
You want to talk about that premiere coming up?
Yes, it will be Downtown Film Festival, Los Angeles. The website is DTLAFF, Downtown LA Film Festival. So DTLA Film Fest, DTLAFF.com.
And then you're screening on the 22nd.
22nd. So they can go on that site and then they can put schedule and then look for Face of Evil. And that's where they can buy tickets. I wish you could invite everyone for free. Whoever is listening, I can't even invite my friends and actors for free. So, but yeah, it would be September 22nd. That's a Thursday, this coming Thursday, 9:50 p.m. Regal Cinemas in downtown LA Live.
That's a nice
Theater
location.
13. Yeah. They had the Emmys yesterday.
Yeah. How's that feel to be screening at that theater?
Good. It feels good. Yeah, I mean, it's a central location.
Yeah.
So and it's a premiere. So I'm glad to invite people there rather than somewhere else where it takes an hour to go. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other thing is this your first film festival then? Attending
With-
as a filmmaker?
Not with short. I've done other shorts, but
First
with
feature.
this film, yes. So first feature,
Congratulations.
and for this one, yeah, specifically, yes, it would be the first of hopefully many. We'll
Yeah,
see.
hopefully. Are you excited to be attending as like a feature film director?
In a way, yes, but it's like on another way, it's a long time due. So
Sure.
I've been waiting for this moment. So it's like, okay, it's about time finally. So it was not, unexpected, but it was welcome. I was happy. I don't have the same energy that I had a few years ago. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy. Of course, I'm
Yeah.
happy for me. I'm happy for everyone else. It would be even more rewarding if I won the best cast, award, because it means I did a good job, finding these folks, and it means that they're going somewhere, with this movie, and that's even more rewarding for a filmmaker than, winning directing.
Well, sure. You have brought this team together, and they have realized your vision. So,
Only even if they come and sit, it's rewarding. Yeah, just come and sit.
And then, do you get nervous when you are screening your films with an audience, like when you're there in the audience with them?
I get nervous before. It's like the before stage, jitters,
Yeah.
and then you get the stage adrenaline, and I guess I'm more relaxed. So maybe every time there is a joke or something in the movie, that's when my heart has a little bump, just because I know what's going on and I want to see the audience reaction. But overall, no. I mean, I've been nervous the past few weeks, just to organize things. But once I'm up there, like now that I'm here, I'm fine. So
Now you're along for the ride.
yeah.
Have you had it where you've watched one of your films with an audience and they laugh at parts you didn't expect?
No, that's bad. I know. Yeah.
Well,
no.
they could be good and
Could
bad.
be good, yeah.
Could be unintentional jokes.
Fortunately, no.
Not laughing at because it's bad.
yeah.
Laughing at because it could be a joke. But
I
maybe.
know. Not that I remember. I think they laughed. They laughed where they were supposed to laugh. Sometimes they didn't laugh enough. They got scared where they were supposed to get scared.
Well, that's good if you made a horror film. So
Yeah.
horror thriller.
Yeah.
And talking more about the film, I read that it was kind of described as like Evil Dead meets Jacob's Ladder, and and there's more of a twist too. You want to talk more about that kind of theme to the film?
Yes. Well, Evil Dead. Speaking of which, there was my one of my inspirations. So you'll find ingredients of Evil Dead as far as weird, surreal characters and events. Then Jacob's Ladder. Jacob's Ladder. That's a psychological thriller, and it's about a Vietnam vet who has hallucinations. So yeah, I mean, there is an ingredient from that movie, all the psychological aspect of it. And then there is also, I would say, a third movie, as far as maybe more the way the movie develops, as far as the twists, the final twist, stuff like that. And I would say Fight Club would be one of the one of the movies that one of the ingredients as far as twists and structure.
So would that be kind of like a what's real and what's not kind of a thing?
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much across the whole movie, because you always find out new truth. As things happen, you think, oh, okay, now there is the epidemic. The epidemic is happening because of that, oh no, now it's happening because of something else. So we find out new truths. So eventually, you don't believe anything anymore, or maybe you believe, you don't know what to believe. So that theme of not knowing what's going on is the whole thread, I would say, and that's also one of the issues of the movie. Things that people, victims, you don't know what's going on. Big brother spied on you. So hopefully, I carried across that feeling too.
Now, with this main theme of someone coming back from being in war, do you have any personal connection with the military, or have family or friends, or did you research?
No, I was in the military in Italy for about a year. My dad was in the military for 40 years, so he's a retired colonel. But no, I have nobody with no friends with post-traumatic stress. I had post-traumatic stress after this movie. I mean, I'm really, but no, I mean, I've seen a lot of movies about that. I know by now, by reading or watching the news, to what it's all about. And then again, this movie is not about that. I'm not, dealing with that issue. That's not the main theme. I don't want to lecture the audience about anything. So even if I didn't know exactly what it was, it's not important, because that's just the backdrop, the delaying issue. In fact, I'm saying that now to hook the audience up, but the whole idea is that you go to watch the movie and you don't even know that he has post-traumatic stress. With a good publicity, we don't have to advertise the hookups so much. We can just create mystery, and mystery itself is a hookup enough to make people go watch it without even revealing too much. So the post-traumatic stress is not supposed to be, selling the movie.
Yeah, just one of the many layers.
Yeah, you'll find out eventually there's post-traumatic stress, but it's so I don't. To answer your question, I don't have post-traumatic stress, and I don't know people with post-traumatic stress.
But you had some involvement with the military, so you weren't writing it as a complete civilian. So
Yeah. I mean, again, I know military people. My dad was in the military, so in that way, I know the field better than someone who who's never been in it. I was in the military myself, and then it's something that always interested me. The soldier, all this drama. Why do you go to war? Not just to save lives or whatnot. Most people go to war to deal with their issues. Yes, you want to be a hero. Yes, you want to save lives. Yes, you want to go for your country. But it's mostly a way to, deal with yourself. From that perspective, it's probably easier to analyze the character.
Sure. And then you've mentioned some of the Big Brother idea or conspiracies. Was that influenced by any particular movie or any personal experiences?
I like conspiracies, and Hollywood likes conspiracies. So
Sure.
It's another common issue, very topical with technology nowadays. After 9/11, and with technology, really, we don't know. We could be spied. Right now, I have many cameras on me, on, and I don't know what else is, off or not. So that's a common issue, I would say. It's not, it's not like you are scared of it. We all got used to it, and that's probably scary. But it's a very common issue that involves everyone in a way, and that's why I also, talked about it just quickly. It's one of the ingredients. The goal is to make this movie not only across genre, but to deal with several issues so that everyone feels involved to a certain degree. Between an epidemic, and between post-traumatic stress and fear of terrorism, Big Brother, conspiracy, and stuff like that. Most people are involved in it, and it's not like I just took ingredients and put them in the pants and see what happened. it was long planned, and it's all it all comes together in the movie.
Nice. And were there any kind of happy accidents while filming, like something you didn't intend to happen, but it worked out really well?
A happy accident? Well, not. If I think about a specific accident, not really. I mean, a lot of delays here and there, little things here and there. Because I mean, production was so it was not a typical production. You shoot 2 or 3 weeks, but it was the typical indie movie production, and even beyond that, I was able to bypass issues, go around the issues by delaying production or by.
Sure.
So it was very easy to manage, to schedule production. So I wasn't, it never happened, a big issue on set. Because, worst case, I say, okay, we stop shooting now and, we go back to shooting tomorrow or in a few days. Especially when we were like just me, another person helping me shoot, and 2 actors. Sometimes we were just 4 or 5 people. So it was much easier, or at makeup artists, 6, 7, 8 people at the most sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's much easier to, in a big set, just by talking to the phone, or, the walkie-talkie, you talk to someone else talks to someone else, and by then already people are lost. And so small production was good because I was able to make this movie the way I wanted. So eventually I'm glad, it's better than having $200,000 or $2 million and 30 people on set and without knowing what's going on and losing everyone.
Well, I'm glad. It sounds like you had some.
Next one, I won that. Next one, yeah.
Sounds like you had some pretty smooth sailing while filming, so that's always good. Because smaller films can also run into different kind of issues, but since you had more control of it, it sounded like you're able to make it happen.
Yeah. If I remember issues, incidents, I'll let you know.
Well, luckily nothing stands out, so you didn't have anything too major.
Yeah, or just removed it from my mind.
Yeah, there you go. It was that bad. You just
trauma.
block it out. And we've talked a little bit about what you plan to do next. Do you have anything specific that you can mention that you're coming up next? Besides the screening, of course.
Well, at this point, I'm just enjoying the screening and the other festivals. Other projects, prequel or sequel, maybe, most likely. I'm brainstorming on that. It's not written yet. I also have another script ready, Perfect Life. It's a psychological thriller. And I have a couple of ideas in my mind. I just don't want to reveal them because I'm not ready to, start them or copyright them or whatnot. So
that's all right.
I don't want, but yeah, I mean, one of them would be a remake of a 90s film. And I'm sure people would love to see. I don't know why they haven't made that remake. They've made remakes of movies 10 years old, and they haven't made this remake. And it's a very topical issue. So,
well, don't say anything about it because you don't want someone to steal it up. So.
And, just look for all the movies in the 90s, and good luck with it.
If you could direct your ideal genre, do you think you're sticking with horror, or is there any other genre that you would like to tackle? Oh, it's psychological as well. So.
Well, horror is. I don't know if I said that before, but the reason why I like horror and because I chose horror is not just because I like horror. I like to be scared, but it's also a marketing reason. I mean, marketing. It's everything. Basically, with horror, thriller, or sci-fi, you have more control as a filmmaker. You can leave your footprint. You can leave. You can. People can see your style. Usually, you see horror movies by such and such. The new movie from such and such. It's the new scary movie and whatnot. With action, drama, or comedy, which is even worse, it's very risky. It's all based on the actors, on the lead or any other actor. They carry on the action. The actor is supposed to be funny. You can direct them to a certain degree, But if the actors are not funny or they don't carry on the action, in fact, even if they are funny or else, you may need a star because people want to see stars in comedy, and so it's much riskier from an economic standpoint. You can always sell a horror movie, even a low budget horror movie. In fact, you can shoot a horror movie on a low budget and sell it. For that reason, but mostly because I can leave my footprint. I can do what I want with a horror movie. If I need a movie to break through, horror or thriller for those not too fans of horror would be better, I guess, because again you can do your own things.
Yeah, you can make more of a name for yourself because they are a little bit more distinct. Like comedy is comedy, drama.
Yeah, that is
depending what you do with it, but horror and psychological thrillers are unique in a different kind of way.
And to answer your question, then which was?
I was gonna say no. I think we covered it. What genre would you want to direct?
Oh yeah. I still like horror and thrillers, so I wouldn't mind to continue this way. I'm open to anything as long as the script, whether I write it or I option it, and I'm open to optioning your script, is character based. So again, it needs to have strong characters, so that we can work on them, and even science fiction. In fact, if I could choose a genre eventually to direct, it would be a big budget science fiction. So that would be my eventually even next movie. I'm ready to do it. Let's do it. I don't have to wait 10 movies to direct science fiction.
No, that'd be a fun genre to work in for sure.
If I could make the remake of Blade Runner. Now, why would Hollywood keep Vito Dinatolo the remake of Blade Runner? I don't have the slightest idea. I don't know.
Well, you make your own version of it, like a new and different interpretation.
Yeah.
Then that way you can keep it and be influenced by, and then it's not necessarily comparing to the original.
That was one of the movies that influenced me a lot, Blade Runner, which is not a science fiction only, but mostly noir movie.
Yes, definitely. Well, because it's noir in a science fiction world.
Yeah.
Because it just happens to be the future.
Yeah.
But the style, for sure. All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much for talking with me. And we've already gone through the time.
All right.
Where can people find you online?
Okay, I am. We say Twitter. Well, that's the movie, Faux Movie. Facebook, Faux Movie as well. My website is vimeo.com /VitoD. And there you can find, some of my videos. But most we're talking about this movie. So go to the festival website too, and the DTLAFF.com/schedule, and look for Face of Evil. And the website, the movie's website, the official website, which needs to be updated, www.fauxmovie, same thing, fauxmovie.com. And there you can see a trailer, stills, and some more information. Spoiler alert, so careful.
So should they not watch the trailer? Does that give away too much?
No, you can watch the trailer.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
no. The trailer is made for so that everyone. Well,
Okay.
it says a little too much about the affected people.
Okay.
Eventually we have to hold that back too.
Yeah.
But you can watch the trailer. You're not gonna spoil anything. So in fact, you should watch the trailer. So you want to go watch the movie.
There you go. Guys, you can go check out Face of Evil at the Downtown LA Film Festival, September 22nd, and you said 9:15?
9:50.
9:50. Nice. I like that scary movies just have to be at nighttime.
Yeah,
It's like you can't do like 4 or 6 or anything like that.
Yeah.
My name is Kari Lane. You can find me online at Kari D. Lane. Thank you so much for watching iTalk Movies on the Popcorn Talk Network. Make sure to follow us on all the social media platforms. Give the video a thumbs up, comment down below, 5 stars on iTunes. And again, thank you for watching. See you next time.
Thank
Bye.
you.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.